Hello, I am Tetsuya Fukuda at International Christian University in Tokyo, Japan. In this talk, I will summarize the study we published as Chapter 10 of the book Student Engagement in the Language Classroom. The title is How Ideal Classmates Priming Increases EFL Classroom Prosocial Engagement. This is a study I conducted with 3 other researchers, Yoshi Fukuda, Joe Fallout, and Tim Murphy. Ideal classmate is not just a concept, it is also a classroom activity in our English classes. In this priming, we ask a question and we have some activities. We thought of the idea of ideal classmates about 10 years ago and started having the activity in our classes. Since we published our first report in System in 2014, we have been trying to disseminate the idea at domestic and international conferences. We started with English classes at the university level in Japan, but now the idea is employed at the lower levels and also in other countries such as Indonesia and Turkey. Getting back to our current study, we started this research with these 2 hypotheses. 1, after students read and reflect upon each other's idea for learning better and more enjoyably together, they would then have a chance to enact these ideas as the semester progresses. 2, with minimal reminders thereafter, ideal classmates priming will help not only to increase their metacognitive awareness of how to engage each other in prosocial learning behaviors, but also to prime them to actually do so. In short, we thought that the students with ideal classmates instructions would become more motivated to study English and help each other well in studying English. In this research, we compared 2 groups of students, Ideal Classmates Priming Group, or ICP, and Future Selves Priming Group, or FSP. When we designed this study, we did not want to have a control group that would not receive any intervention because we believed that ICP was effective. Instead, we decided to compare ICP classes with other classes that receive FSP, which we believed was effective too. In all the classes, we examined 2 factors: 3 mind time frames of motivation and prosocial peer learning support engagement, which we call people's engagement. We employed a mixed method design by asking open-ended questions and Likert scale items. This is a visual representation of the concept of 3 mind time frames of motivation. In this model, motivation is a concept consisting of 3 time frames, past, present, and future. And in the present, there are 2 frames, in class present and out of class present. This is the overview of the current study. We collected the data in 21 English classes in 3 universities in the years 2017 and 2018. Students in 11 classes were in ICP group and 10 classes were in FSP group. In the classes of ideal classmates, students were given the ideal classmates prompt at the beginning of the semester and participated in ideal classmates activities. In the classes of future selves, students were given the future selves prompt and participated in future selves activities. On the qualitative side, each group was given a prompt at the beginning. In ICP, the prompt was, please describe a group of classmates that you could learn English well with. What would you all do to help each other learn better and more enjoyably? And in FSP, the prompt was, please describe a future you using English. What would you be doing with your English in future situations? Their responses were coded and made into a list and then given back to the students. In the middle of the semester, students were asked about the engagement of their classmates with this prompt. In what new ways are your classmates helping you to learn and enjoy English in the last few weeks? And at the end of the semester, students were asked the engagement question again and the new question about the changes of their learning. Please describe any changes you have made during this semester in your behavior or attitudes toward your classmates. What influences do you think these changes may have had on your classmates' relationships in and out of class and your English learning? As previously explained, their responses to the initial questions were coded and made into a list of ideal classmate images or future selves images. In the middle and at the end of the semester, their responses to the engagement question were coded and categorized into 8 groups of comments. Of those 8 groups, 7 were about positive comments and 1 group was about negative comments. The 7 positive categories are trying communicating in English, creating friendly atmosphere, support completing class activities, teach English, metacognitive suggestions or advice, sharing information or ideas, and inspiring. And one negative category was not having much support from my classmates. After counting the numbers of comments in the groups, we compared the 2 groups. We found some interesting contrast. First, we compared the general engagement levels of the 2 groups, but we did not find any meaningful differences. In other words, we found that students in both groups showed engagement in learning English. Second, we found that ICP group utilized a certain type of engagement more than FSP group. It was creating a friendly atmosphere which promotes each other's English communication. This difference makes sense because we made effort to encourage the students in ICP group to visualize the images of students who help other students. Third, we found that FSP group utilized another type of engagement more than ICP group. It was trying to communicate in English without speaking Japanese, their first language. This difference can be interpreted to indicate that the students in FSP group tended to make efforts to use English because they were encouraged to visualize their future self-image of using English. Then, we are now moving on to the quantitative data collection and analysis. We used 2 surveys. The 3 mind time frames of motivation survey was conducted twice, at the beginning and at the end of the semester. In this survey, we have 4 components: past, present in class, present out of class, and future. These are some of the questions in the survey. For example, we asked, I enjoy learning English in class in the past, to ask about their past. One more survey was People's Engagement Survey, in which we had 4 items, and the sample items are these. My classmates are helping me to learn English, and I am helping my classmates to learn English. After collecting the data, we examined the internal consistency of the 2 surveys, and also we conducted exploratory factor analysis for the motivation survey because we had 4 components in it. In the quantitative analysis, we compared the 2 groups in 2 ways. First, we examined the general motivation level of the 2 groups and their changes. This table shows the mean scores of the motivation survey. As can be seen, the general motivation level of ICP went up from 3.21 to 3.62. And the level of FSP also went up from 3.43 to 3.84. The t-test results were both significant. Thus, it is possible to say that the students became more motivated to learn English after ICP and FSP. Motivation and engagement were positively correlated in both groups. In other words, it can be said that the more motivated the students were, the more they were engaged in class, and vice versa. The first comparison showed a similar result to the qualitative analysis. The next comparison was made between the improvement of motivation and the engagement of each group. Interestingly, the improvement in the ICP group was significantly correlated with the engagement level, though it was small. But in the FSP group, it was insignificant. The correlations of ICP were small but significant. It seems that ICP promotes growth of motivation and engagement at a closer pace than FSP. So, both hypotheses were supported. One, students in both groups showed improvements in their motivation levels. ICP and FSP may have helped them have more positive attitudes in English learning. Two, ICP seems to have helped students actually engage each other in prosocial learning behaviors. Based on the results and the interpretations of this study, we made a list of ways in which we could enhance students' motivation and engagement in language learning. In ICP, mutual preferences among classmates for how to care for each other's L2 learning becomes identifiable. Mutual preferences and requests for helpful classroom learning behaviors becomes highlighted. New ideas for how to help others learn can be inspiring, so new ways to assist peers can be tried out. In FSP, mutual goals among classmates for future L2 use can become more identifiable. Non-mutual goals can become more appreciated and respected. Different goals can be communicable, so new goals and perhaps greater aspirations can spread across the classroom social network. This is not in the chapter, but we would like to present this acronym, PACE-ACT, to show a useful summary of ideal classmates. In this list, we have 7 ways to act as good classmates. 1. Play, laugh, and have fun together. 2. Adjust to each other's level. 3. Care about each other. 4. Excite each other. 5. Accept each other's mistake. 6. Challenge each other to take risks. 7. Teach each other. This list was made by Tim Murphy, and according to Tim, it is very popular among teachers in Turkey. One of their students even added an S at the end for sustainable. So for them, now the list is PACE-ACT. Thank you for your attention. The first paper is a book chapter I summarized, and the second paper is our first paper about ideal classmates.